Hi everyone, my name is Nicolas
Grossemy, and I'm the founder of Paris Panini. If you had told me 10 years ago that I'll be standing in front of you for a TEDx, I would have laughed. Why? Because I wasn't a business expert, but I was just a simple man with a food truck, a grill, and a big dream. But before I tell you about my story, let me tell you about someone else. It was back in 1971, two teachers and a writer decided to team up and invest around $1,000 to open a small, tiny coffee shop in Seattle. They didn't have a grand business plan, but they had a vision. They wanted to sell high quality beans in this coffee shop. That coffee shop, it was Starbucks. So it started with an idea, a grand idea with a very passion project. So all businesses today, all big businesses started with an idea. But an idea without a plan and execution is nothing. I'll just give you a little bit of backstory. So I come from a middle class family. My parents are teachers. Education was very important to me. But to be honest, I learned more in the kitchens of a restaurant than in any classroom. And I want to actually advise any people in this room who obviously is learning things about business, learning things theory in classroom. It is a great thing, but getting experience and hands-on is a great feeling, and it's the best way to, I would say, develop this inner passion and develop overall skills for your futures. So back in the days, I started working when I was 18 in restaurants, and I wasn't a master chef. I cleaned dishes, I prepared food, I served table. It wasn't glamorous, but I loved it. And that's when I realized that food is not just about eating. It's about an experience. And over the years that I accumulated this experience working in restaurant, I felt that I wanted to create my own experience and create my own ideas, build these own ideas of mine that I had about giving a real different experience to people. So starting from an idea, you'll probably ask me, where do I start? So start small, but start. It's not going to be necessarily glamorous as even when I started. That's actually how Paris Panini started. This is the first place that I got in 2015. I got a bunch of stools and chairs. I wasn't a master chef. I also wasn't a businessman, but I had a vision. And I started small. I didn't have investors. I also didn't have a big space. So I started with this and a small food truck. I decided to start because I found a gap in the food industry in Bangalore, and I felt that this opportunity, I should seize it now, or it's never gonna happen. I was 22 back then, 22 years old, and I didn't have much, but I had a lot of confidence, and I was sure that a product like the panini that I wanted to build would have a great response. And for people who, especially for Bangalore, where people love to experience different cuisine, I felt that this kind of product will be much appreciated. So I didn't start with big money, I didn't start with a big space, but the idea was to get a proof of concept. So, like, the perfect moment doesn't exist. Start now. Start messy. Start without thinking that it's not right, I can't start right now. You know, there's always millions of excuses that we can find, but perfection is an excuse for inaction. Start with what you have. As you saw, I had a very small space. I started with the resources that I had. And probably it's part of, when I grew up, my parents always told me, do not spend more than what you earn. So it's probably something that I kept very close to me, and I also grew up with this kind of values and discipline. And so it's all about starting something that you have a very good control over it. Start something that you can, you have the own proprietorship, but start messy and start small, but start somewhere. So constraints for creativity, because when you have a very few resources, or when you have, I was 22 when I started, and obviously accessing to capital was not there for me. I had savings because of the experience that I gained in the food industry. I was saving up money, and all that money went into building this dream of mine. So with the limited amount of resources, I really decided to capitalize on this and build my dream. So now that you have an idea, now that you want to take the leap of faith, it's not about just a 1 month experience, a 1 month journey, overnight success. It's all about embracing the struggles. It's all about building on one product, one concept that you have in mind, and from there build on. You know, all the big businesses today, be it Apple, be it Starbucks, be it Airbnb, they all started tiny. They all started with a very little setup and infrastructure, and from there they built on. And that's what I truly believe. You don't necessarily have to have access to or big funds and big money to start, but you need to start with what is accessible to you, and from there find a way to work on your product, work on your concept, and get better at it. Because even for me, when I started, it's not that I was a panini master or I was a business expert. I was just someone who was 22 years old, and I had obviously experience in restaurant, and I knew that I could build this kind of concept, but nothing was given to me. I learned every single day. Like there were a lot of highs, a lot of lows also. Sometimes we actually underestimate how the lows are very low when we are in a entrepreneur journey. But I think it's part of the journey, and you need to embrace those kind of moments and learn from there. I'll give you a simple example. Mr. Schultz from Starbucks got rejected 242 times before he got funding. And for me, it took me 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years before I got the right partner, the right people. It takes time. Success is not an overnight thing, and building an empire take a lot of persistence, and take a lot of efforts and passion to reach the milestone that you want to achieve. So for me, like, to be honest, I almost gave up in between. But one thing that kept ringing into my mind is, see, wherever I would park my food truck, I would get an outstanding response. The product was loved, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to spend for the awareness, for putting money in marketing to reach out to more people, to pay fancy rents, to get a bigger setup. So myself, I was talking to customers. Like, that was a very crucial time. It was defining the concept as well as mastering it, because it's not a one day thing. It's all about the long-term plan that you have. It's all about building a concept that you keep mastering, you keep improving, and again, you start small and you embrace the struggles and you keep going until breakthrough. So breakthrough, it's all about relentless mindset. It's all about it's all about improving your concept over the years. See, even Amazon, for example, focused on a very important aspect of their business: customer focus. And they thought if they give importance and focus to the customer experience and build on that, they would be able to reach out, obviously, to a lot of people, but build also a sustainable concept. And that's what I believe too. It's not just about starting something and just stick to one thing, but also listen to your customer, listen what is going around, what is your competition also, learn from people, be open-minded. It's not just you and you might have strong ideas, but people around, there'll be a lot of people around who are ready to help you, but you need to listen to them and not necessarily take all their point of view, because it becomes quite messy otherwise, but give them this chance of talking to you, and as well as incorporate productive feedback. I believe that there's no feedback that are negative or positive. It's all about productive feedback. And that helps you build, I would say, a very sustainable and healthy business over the years, because you're not just building a strong ideas and concept, but you are building something that matters to you as well as for other people. And another point in terms of the breakthrough that I feel very relevant for any business purpose is to find a work-life balance, because it's not just about working hard, but it's about also working smart. And getting this kind of open mind or meeting people around, it will not be necessarily just at your workplace. It might be in the street, leaving the school, where you might find your next business partner, or you might find the next business idea. I met my partners in a changing room in the gym. Why? Because at that time, I was relentlessly talking to people, pitching my idea to get investment, to get people to believe in the concept, and people to share the same kind of passion that was driving through me, and share it with them and scale the business. So one fine day, I'm someone who believes in the work balance entirely. I'm someone who, from the early days, I've been an athlete in France. Fitness has been a big part of my journey, and I'm also so proud and glad that one day I came to the gym and I met my now partner, and I pitched him this idea of the food truck that I was running, but I was telling him about the struggles that I'm facing right now, and he totally understood because he was having the same kind of background and the same kind of experience. He was running a food business, and he knew what it would take to build a business and scale it. So sometimes, the multiple rejections will get you closer to a more accurate yes, and that will help you build a stronger business. So now it comes to my final part, all the takeaways from building from an idea to an empire. So as Jeff Bezos said really well, all overnight success takes about 10 years. There is no overnight success. Unfortunately, guys, you will have to work hard. You will have to drive this project for probably a couple of years, if not decades, before finding success. Because every empire starts with an idea, starts before you're ready, starts messy, but starts now. Struggle will make you stronger. You will realize things along the way. You will learn a lot along the way. But again, start. Never stop improving. Even now, we do still improve a lot on the product, on the concept, on everything. And that's what also we are not scared of the competitions now, because we believe that if our product and concept keeps improving, nobody will be able to keep up with us. Again, one more point, listen to your customer. I feel that feedback can always be productive. So please listen to people around you, not necessarily your customer. It can be your family. It can be your teachers. It can be anyone. And yeah, success is a long game. Don't stop now and play for the long run. Because what started for me as a tiny little sandwich idea that I took from a food truck led me to a 50 crore business empire now that I'm very proud of. So I would say that now you have to take for building from an idea to an empire, what it takes is mostly taking the first step. So are you ready to take that first step?